2022 को समर महिनामा टेस्लाको मोडल Y लिएर लगभग 1300 माइलको दूरी न्युयोर्क टु नायगरा फल्स र 1000 माइलको यात्रा 3 दिन लगाएर पुरा गरे।
I'm not eating that. I know you're recording. I know you're recording.
Say off the camera. Say on the camera.
I know you're recording.
I want to know what kind of child you are. You tell me, what do you want?
I want chicken nuggets.
Just chicken nuggets?
Yes.
There are many other things in the world. Chicken nugget is not allowed today. What else you want? Let's think that today nobody makes a chicken nuggets. There is no chicken nuggets near me. What do you want? What's the next food you want?
Noodles. Noodles.
Say that one more time.
Noodles.
Noodles also not an option. Let's pretend that there's no restaurant that offers noodles.
Daddy, I'm king crab with juicy seaweed, man. No, Danny, ke. No, can't. This is my cake, Hannah. Cake, Hannah. You take pura nahi khanda. Mala chacho roti ko nikode gadi rachi ke. Ha? Dekhi sako my cake. Disco. Bola ma. Daddy, it's discount. Daddy,
Huh? What do you want to do? Sini, आउनुस्। टेस्लामा बस्नु है त। भएन। वेट। फोनमा टेस्लाको एपमा गएर अनलक गर्नुपर्छ।
के राम्रो अगाडि किन्नु भयो आजले?
Ready for the fireworks. Ready for the dinner. Ready for the fireworks.
We are excited for fireworks, right? एकदम excited भइरहेको छ।
अब fireworks है नि?
अब बक्ला
Firework 10 बजे हो।
10 बजे हो?
Starts to 10 p.m.
Okay, so पहिला खाऊ न त।
Let's see.
Now take the Niagara Scenic Parkway ramp on the right.
ठ्याक्कै 10 बजे। गाडीबाट मम्मी त्यही भएर यहाँबाट ए ला अगाडिबाट गर्छ। त्यही भएर यहाँ नाइट भ्यू यहाँबाट राम्रो देख्छ के सनसाइन भएको
Turn left onto Buffalo
अनि
Avenue.
यो फायरवर्क्स गरेको यति राम्रो देख्छ यहाँबाट अनि
Now turn left
डेको
onto
त्यो
Buffalo Avenue.
नायगरा फल हेर्न जान्छ के सिपमा त्यो चाहिँ नि उताबाट राम्रो देख्छ अरे डेमा चाहिँ नारुतो
Buffalo Avenue.
हजुरलाई के खानु मन छ?
मलाई के पनि राम्रो लाग्यो हामी रुममा गएर अलि नुडल्स बनाएर खाने
मलाई के खानु दिन्छ?
दिनुहुन्छ हामी नुडल्समा
एकछिन quiet बस्नु।
एकदम धेरै नबोल त खानै दिन्न मैले केही पनि
किन खानै पर्दैन।
ओ वेलकम टु नियागारा फल्स लेखौँ न नेली लेखौँ रे
पालो त भन्ने के है?
कताबाट बक्सो पालो
जेसुकै होस् गइसक्यो गयो अब।
त्यहाँ राति गाडीसँग
राति गाडी जानु अलि अप्ठ्यारो हुन्छ।
मम्मी बन्द भइदिनु के
जस्तो छ त्यति खिच्नुपर्छ
त्यहाँ थिच्नु न स्क्रिनमा के देख्दैन
घर राम्रो घर के होटल हो कि के हो यो त होटेलहरू घर
ट्रेन पनि यहाँ पनि रहेछ नि त बेला कि हाम्रोको हो यो त
उ यहाँ हेरी होटेल छ नि
हाजी आई थिंक त्यो हाम्रोको
कुरा नगर्नु न
हाजी त्यो त हाम्रोको
होइन हामी त नजिक छैन टाढा छौँ कि अहिले डिफरेन्ट पर्छ नि खानु जा
अनि कत्रो ठुल्ठुलो अपार्टमेन्ट घरहरू
यी सबै होटेलहरू हो
In 500 feet, turn left onto Goat Island Bridge.
बच्चा बोकेर यहाँ छ
हेरेर फर्किसक्यो
पुलिस होइन
यो पुलिस त्यसले उता झिल बालेको चाहिँ के हो
Now turn
Yo,
left onto
tower.
Goat Island Bridge.
कहाँ बोल्यायो झिल टावर त्यो क्यानाडातिर पर्छ नि नेपालतिर पर्छ ए नेपाल क्यानाडातिर पर्छ क्यानाडाको हो कि नाइट भ्यू क्यानाडा राम्रो देख्छ कि न्युबाट भन्दैछ त अनि क्यानाडा चाहिँ डिएमा चाहिँ क्यानाडा सबै फायर हाउस हेरेर फर्किसकेको
यहाँ छैन क्या
छु फिनितो
हस् सिधै जान नदिएपछि सिधै चाहिँ जानु पर्यो
स्टेट Niagara Falls State Park
Now turn right onto Main Street.
भनक्क घुमेर जाऊँ नझर्नु
यहाँ नु गाडीहरु यहाँ
यहाँ हे हामी झरेर घुमेको
यहाँ ट्रक
यहीँबाट झरेर घुमौँ के भयो
उमारो ट्रकले के हो
यस्तै त्यो त पुलिस रेड कचिन हजुरले पनि ट्याक ट्याक पारेर
यहाँ नु गाडीहरुलाई
क्यानाडा साइड
त्यहाँको मान्छेहरु हेर्नु मान्छेहरु हेर्दैन यो स्क्रिनमा
ए मान्छे हिँड्दैछ पनि हुँदो रहेछ
I'm so surprised buildings are हुँदैन के
In
आज हामी नायगरा फल्स आएको पुरै मजा राम्रो नायगरा फलको सेकेन्ड डे अब बोर्डको लागि रेडी हुँदैछ हामी हो कस्तो रमाइलो लाग्छ नि गाडीको त्यस्तो ओपन गाडी छ अब हामी आज ब्रेकफास्ट खाने होटलको ब्रेकफास्ट सकेर यताबाट लक हुन्छ गाडी निस्किने मात्रै होला होइन यता हेर्नुहोस् त क्यामेरामा हेरिदिनुहोस् त पनि दुइटै आउट मात्रै हो कि इन होइन हामी होटल यो हाम्रो होटल यहाँ ल ल ल आउनुहोस् आइरिस कम मम्मीसँग आउनुहोस् आज हामी चाहिँ होटलको ब्रेकफास्ट पछाडि सेकेन्ड डे भेकेसन स्माइली फेस अहिलेको चाहिँ के छ
मस्त आन्त
हजुरको के छ आइरिस
मस्त केही छैन
केही छैन
गाडी कता छ यस्तो पस्छ
अब हामी
अगाडि
ये
यस्तो नि यस्तो
अगाडि हिँड्नुहोस् न हजुर एकचोटि अगाडि ड्याडीतिर हिँड्नुहोस्
आउनुहोस्
अब जाँदालाई
अब हामी चाहिँ होटलको ब्रेकफास्ट पछाडि हामी अब कता अब नायगरा फल्स
अब नागरा फल्स
अहिलेको बिहानको चाहिँ 8:44 8:44 भयो हामी चाहिँ फिनिस भयो बिहानको ब्रेकफास्ट सकिएर यो पोलिटिन भन्ने होटल त सानो मोटल रहेछ कि देखेनौ त्यो सानो खुसी हो कि हाम्रो त ठुलै राम्रो होटल हो
ओ मलाई त यो बाइकमा फोटो खिच्न पाइन्छ
अर्काको उसमा चाहिँ नगर
अहिले कफी अहिले कफी जरी छि मार्छ
केही गर्दैन हौ कफी लिएर बाइकमा छ सेम गाडी जस्तो कि स्ट्यान्ड गर्न बाइक चला
अलि यतापट्टि
अर्काको हेरिरहेछ
के हुने यतापट्टि आउनु
के भन्दा के
लु
कफी
पर्दैन त्यसरी यता बस् यतापट्टि
यताबाट यस्तो स्टार्ट मात्रै गर्नु
हो
भलाइ जलाई हो अनि यस्तो दुईटा ह्यान्डल
भयो
समाते जस्तो
भयो
दुईटा ह्यान्डल समाते जस्तो
भयो कि
कहाँ मैले यत्रो चलाउँछु सक्छु त नि
अब
अनि
त्यो आँखाको गाडी हो
कुन
उयो
हो र It's our car, babe.
दाग लागेको उकाउने हैन कहाँ दाग लाग्यो किरा अब कहाँ अहिले
ए अब एउटा काम गर्नुपर्ने हो हामीले
के काम
माथि जानुपर्ने फेरि
वाइ
हुँ
वाइ
यसको चार्ज त सिधै लाग्यो
जानी लिएर आउँछु
म गरेर ल्याएर आउँछु
म यहाँ सामान मिलाउँदै गर्छु
ओके
अनि हजुर
आज हामी अब नायगरा फल्सको बोटिङ जाँदैछौँ होइन
हामी आज न्यागेरा फल्सको बोटिङ जाँदैछौँ जाँदाखेरि बाटोमा पर्ने यो ब्रिज हो कस्तो लाग्यो
मेरो च्यानललाई सब्सक्राइब गर्नु लाइक गर्नु सेयर गर्नु
मेरो च्यानललाई लाइक गर्नु सेयर गर्नु सब्सक्राइब गर्नु भाइरल हुने बाटो नि भाइरल हुने बाटो मेरो गाइज अनि हाम्रो यो यो च्यानलको नाम हो आइरिस
मेरो च्यानलको नाम
नो नो तिम्रो होइन नि त यो दिस इज माइन
होइन मेरो च्यानलको
आइरिस आइरिस नेली आई निरोज घले आई निया गुरुङ अनि आई को हो यो च्यानल
मेरो च्यानल भन्दै भनेको
होइन 4 जना भनिरहेको छु त मैले ओ
this is how it really feels like to ride on
अर्डर गर्नु
Save file.
Welcome to the city of Niagara Falls.
Exit 21.
यो नागारा फल जाने बाटोको नबोल्ने हुन्छ हौ बोल्ने हो बोल्यो यत्रो तालै ताल त होला यो हो त लेकको
Lego. River होला.
रिभर हो होला
हाम्रो फेरि एक सर्कल
नट
हाल्नु
कम हो
स्टेट पार्क अमेरिकन
Niagara Falls.
अमेरिकन नेक्स्ट राइट
नेक्स्ट यो ल यो गाइज यो पढ्नु होला है मैले पढ्न पनि आउँदैन हजुरहरू पढ्ने
Now take exit 21 on the right. Now take the Niagara Scenic Parkway ramp on the
बफीलाई
right.
स्टेट पार्क अमेरिकन फल्स यस्तो ठाउँमा काम गर्दा त उदासै लाग्छ होला मान्छेलाई बोल्नु मन आएछ नेपालीहरू परेछ कि बिचरा कहाँ इन्डियन आर्मीको त्यो उसमा नेपाली आर्मीहरू परेछ कि पहिरोमा उठिएछ कि हिउँमा पहिरो भनेको के हो नि ओ नो पहिरो भने जस्तो लाग्यो
भनेको के हो
के अरे कालो यहाँ बुढा हिजो क्विन्समा एकजना महिलालाई बच्चा लिएर बेलुका वाकिङमा जाँदाखेरि पछाडिबाट गोली हान्दैछ क्विन्समा क्या खै के जातको नेपालीले समाचार भन्थ्यो टिकटकमा एउटा साथीभाइ यताउतिको सँगै हिँड्नु अरे बेलुका वाकिङ गर्न जाँदाखेरि बच्चा लिएर वाकिङमा गएको गोली हान्दै अरे ल के भयो पछाडिबाट टाउको बच्चालाई लिएर
In 1 mile, enter the roundabout and take the first exit.
हेर कसैसँग रिस नगर है केही नभना
मेडिकल नबोल्नु नि त्यस्तो कुरा
भिडियो राम्रो छैन
यहाँ ब्ल्याक स्क्रिनमा खिच्नुपर्छ
ल हजुर खिच्नु यता साइड यता
That's very difficult.
कालो कति राम्रो नागराको नानीले चाहिँ कालो यहाँ अर्को बाइकमा खिच्यो कालो चाहिँ भएको
ए
फ्रन्ट गर न बाबु हामीलाई के भन्ने आफूतिर फर्काउनु
No.
Hey Iris
Hi. I was feeling today. Feeling good. के गर न फोन कसरी गर्ने मिल्छ आफूतिर पड्काउने कसरी हो होइन के त्यसरी आफूतिर गर्ने कसरी हो क्यामेरा मिल्दैन है ए यसरी हेर्दा 3 मिनेट छ है त रङ गर्न मिलेको हुन्छ त
यहाँ चार्ज गरेर एकछिन भयो त्यहाँ ब्रेक त पुग्दैन
र छैनै सिन राम्रो उमै गर्छु
चार्ज मिको मिको मी
आइपुग्यो 3 मिनेट
अहिले त्यहाँ उसमा खिच्नुपर्छ भिडियो
अनु के अफ गरेको हाल
massive water. Follow them. Hello. Oh, Niagara Falls.
Baby head look.
No, तेरो उसमा लाग्यो मोबाइल खस्छ मोबाइल
That's the Canada
त्यो
side.
चाहिँ गाडीको लाइन
Certain.
My belly is fat because I ate too many hot Cheetos.
Oh.
But guess what? I pooped out hot Cheetos.
Okay, you hide it. That's a pretty high. Oh my goodness, very, really down. You saw that? Did that, Judy? Hi, Nelly. Turn it back. Okay, good. Okay, okay. Got it.
I want to do it. No,
You got the ticket? के भयो होला है ओ हामी माथिबाट ल यता आइसक्यो ओ कस्तो शीतल भयो है अलि शीतल भयो है
चिसो हुँदो रहेछ
वाह fast guys hello check it
Tickets are down there on the grid. So
Okay.
just head right this way.
this line okay
Yep.
this side
Yeah, being on the front. Oh.
ticket ticket okay thank you
Children's sizes are inside the tent.
it's inside the tent
Yes, right there.
okay for one side okay Ice, you get it whoa guys excited
I'm so excited.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, tall. It's very tall. Look. Oh my god.
Ow, stop it! Stop it!
Oh, you're so cute.
उतापट्टिको क्यानाडाको डिफ्रेन्ट हो नि यसमा
Yes.
छिटो अहिले एकछिन रङ्गो अब सबै पाउडा भरि पोल्ला कति राम्रो फोटो खिचाइदिन्छ छोरीले
You work aquarium. So you have to pay. Alright. Pay for a parking. See? And then like the area here. Enter aquarium.
ब्यागमा मात्रै छोडेर
ब्यागमा मात्रै छु नि टाउकोमा छुँदैन छु
टाउकोमा त्यस्तो बनाएर आँखा कि तेलमा नछुनेर गयो न गयो अरे
र आज हामी 1000 आइल्यान्ड जानको लागि होटेलबाट अर्ली चेकआउट गरेर जाँदैछौँ है क्या मलाई केही पर्दैन लिएर भइसक्यो ल गएर बसिया बाटोमा कोरियन बार्बिक्यू र बफेलो चिकन खाँदैछु अब हामी 1000 आइल्यान्ड आइपुग्यौँ अलिकति ढिलै जस्तो भयो र हामीले कुरेर आई थिङ्क 1 घन्टा पछाडि कुरेन हामीले र सिधै हामी बोर्डमा अब ट्राभल सुरु गऱ्यौँ
And then along the edge of the property here, you're going to see these gargoyles, griffins, and that lion, all with their mouths and eyes painted red. So these were put up during the years of Prohibition because the people here on the island didn't want the evil Canadian alcohol spirits to enter onto American mainland. So the next gray boathouse there is tied together on the same property with the brown home here on the end. Also, the home on the end itself is known as Win Lee Lodge. So it's purchased by the Fraser family out of Solvay, New York. And they wanted a home that would give them easier access to their favorite country club here in the region. And that is going to be the Thousand Islands Country Club, located on Wellesley Island, which is this large island over to your right-hand side. So this was the only property that they could really find to get them easier access to the specific country club, and that's how they ended up with Winley Lodge.
What were you talking about? Mistakenly.
So I've had a lot for you people on the left-hand side so far today on the trip, so I'm going to go ahead and have something for you guys on the right. So this island that looks like a large rock here is Devil's Oven. So as we go by, you're going to see a small opening by the water level there, and that's actually going to lead you to about a 30-foot deep cave down inside that island. So that cave was once housed by a river pirate named Bill Johnston. He stayed there for about 3 days and 3 nights after he sunk the British steamship, the Sir Robert Peel, during the Patriots' War of 1838. So he was eventually caught down there. When the person that brought him supplies was being followed, and when he was caught, he was initially sentenced to prison, but later on got a presidential pardon, and then became the region's first lighthouse caretaker at Rock Island in the Rock Island Lighthouse, which is a little ways past the Thousand Islands Bridge. And that pirate Bill Johnson is actually the reason we're going to have Pirates Weekend here in Alex Bay. And then this little island to your left is Cuba Island. So it simply gets its name because from an aerial view, it looks just like the island nation of Cuba.
Oh. Oh.
And then this next island here to your right is going to be Wawanay Island. So this once housed the first boatel up here in this region. So a boatel is just going to be like any other hotel, motel, Holiday Inn, but that one there is only going to be accessible by boat. So people would have came here for nights at a time, enjoying the river. And if you see that foundation of the home sitting there currently, that is the original foundation for where that boatel stood. But unfortunately, the original boat boatel was lost to fire. You're about 9 miles long and 4 miles wide at its widest point. There's a few golf courses over there, state park, along with a lot of summer communities. So right along with that, this island is going to be one of the few spots that houses year-round residents. But that just comes down to the easy access of the island with the Thousand Islands Bridge.
गाडी पनि छन् ऊ हेर्न गाडी कार पनि छ
And then the island to your right here with nothing really on it, that is going to be Jewel Island. So it once housed a large mansion known as the Stony Crest Mansion, but that was later on torn down and a third of the island on this side was blown away, because right here is the most narrow spot in the entire shipping channel on the St. Lawrence River, so they had to make room for 2 freighters to pass through here if absolutely necessary.
त्यहाँ हेर्नु त्यहाँ पनि हेर्नु बारी हेर्नु यो घर हेर्नु त्यो घरमा गाडी कति फेरि
So then over here on Wellesley Island, you are going to find the regional headquarters for the Border Patrol. And then shortly ahead here, you're going to find the regional headquarters for the Coast Guard.
border petrol के यो क्यानाडा र युएसको border हो के
So you guys are actually going to be lucky enough to be going by a freighter here today. But you're not going to be able to see this one because it's going to be right around 160 feet directly below us. So this is going to be a shipwreck known as the Roy A. Chaudhry. It sunk in November of 1974. So it was a 600-foot Canadian laker. Again, and it was full of iron ore. It hit Pullman Shoal, which put a pretty good gash in the side of that boat. And it ended up sinking right here in front of the Coast Guard station. But since it was right here in front of the station, they had plenty of help getting all of the crew members off the ship there. Because of that, no lives ended up being lost.
नबोल्नु भन्दै हेर्नु हैन
And then this home above all these stone walls to the left, this is Hopewell Hall. It was initially owned by William Browning, and he manufactured Civil War Union Army uniforms. So it was later purchased by George Bull, and he gave it to his daughter Clover Bull as a wedding gift. Recently, within the past few years, it was purchased by the grandson of E.J. Noble for $3.7 million. For those of you who aren't familiar with E.J. Noble, he's a man from Gouverneur, New York, and was the developer of the Lifesaver candy. And then this next island right here to your left is going to be Pullman Island. It was owned by George Pullman, and he created the sleeper-style rail car. So he once had a little castle of his own over there, but it was later on torn down over a tax dispute with the town. And then you're going to see all these yachts again here to the left with that yellow building just beyond there. So that is the Thousand Islands Yacht Club and the Thousand Islands Country Club that I was just mentioning a little bit ago, that the Fraser family was trying to get easier access to. And then this island with the 2 flags here is Nobby Island. It's currently owned by Dr. Marola at the Cazenovia, New York. So as we do go by here, you're going to see some stone pillars kind of on the upper level of that home where that porch is at. And those stone pillars are not going to be held together by anything other than the weight of the home sitting upon them.
पर्दैन किन हुन्छ
And then this next island here to your left is Dewey or Friendly Island. So it's owned by Paul Quackenbush. He created Empire Air, which is today better known as American Airlines. So his great-grandfather was also an innovator. He created a few things, including the double-hinged nutcracker, along with the patent for the Daisy Red Ryder BB gun as seen in A Christmas Story.
कस्तो फेन्स लगाएर बार पनि यसको ल फिर्ता गर्ने
This island with the large white anchor that you're going to see, that is St. Elmo's Island. So St. Elmo is simply the patron saint of sailors for all these sailors and boaters out here on the St. Lawrence River. And if you see that boathouse there towards the foot of the island, that is a mini replica of the original home that once stood on top of that island there. But unfortunately, that original home was lost to fire. And then just beyond there, that lighter colored home with the brown roof is the Swiss Chalet. So that is where George Bolt would have housed the construction workers during the construction of the castle. So at this point in our trip, we're going to be headed towards what is for many the highlight of our tour in the heart of the Thousand Islands. This is going to be Bolt Castle sitting over there on Hart Island. So this was built by a man named George Bolt. He was a Prussian immigrant who made his way over to the United States at the age of 13. So when he got to the United States, he found his way in New York City. Got a job as a dishwasher in one of the hotels down there. So after a few years, on a lot of time in the industry, he worked his way up to a pretty powerful manager position at a very young age. So at that point, a group of investors approached him wanting him to be the manager for their new hotel that they were putting together. George Bolt did quickly accept that offer. One of the investors' daughters actually became his future fiancée and wife, Louise, who we built this castle for. So together they made a fortune in the hotel industry, having some pretty well-known hotels such as the Waldorf Astoria in New York City, the Bellevue Stratford Hotel, which is located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And that's again how they get the wealth to purchase the island and begin the construction of the castle. But one thing that a lot of people do not know is that George Bolt actually had a second love of his life, and this was his mother-in-law. So if you see that little island with the brown cabin there to the left, that's actually what she ended up with. And then the first structure on the island itself is going to be the Arch of Honor that you're going to find. And that's where George Bolt would have met his guests coming over here to the castle. And then this next tower that you're going to see is going to be the Ulster's Tower or Kids Playhouse. So in there, there's going to be multiple libraries, a large billiards room, along with a 2-lane bowling alley. So that also is going to be the only spot here on the island that the Bolt family stayed in overnight. And then next here you have the castle itself, sits at right around 6 stories tall, has over 120 rooms, 45 fireplaces, and 365 windows, which would make one for every day of the year. And then the next tower peeking through the trees is the Dovecote or Henry. So that's where George Bolt would have kept his exotic birds here on the island. And that is going to be surrounded by the Italian floral gardens, which actually houses a good number of weddings out here during the summer months. And then the last structure on the end of the island here is the powerhouse for the castle. And that's where they would have kept the steam to power the castle all throughout the years. And then the last structure that I am going to point out here is going to be beyond our island. And it's going to be the large brown building with the white barn doors. That's where that was going to be the yacht house, where George Bolt would have kept his personal houseboats and yachts during his stay on the island. So I did mention there that the castle was built by Louise, or for Louise.
उयो गऱ्यो नि समरमा त खुब रमाइलो हुन्छ नि समर जुन जुलाई अगस्त 3 दिन यहीँ बसेर ल्यापटप राखेर यहीँ बसेर काम गर्ने आमा ठिक छ ठिक छ यो भर्किन्छ हजुर किन्छ किन्दैन $1 दिने किन्छ $1 दिने किन्छ $1
Of this. So no matter what time of day it is, as long as the sun is shining, unnatural light's going to find its way through some of the windows in that home. And then this little island here with the brown cabin on it, this is going to be Crow Island. So this does happen to be another man-made island here in the region. That one there was built by a local in Alex Bay named Lonnie McAllister. So he wanted a little bit of a fishing retreat, or just a spot to get away from Alex Bay during the busy summer months. So he did eventually sell that property there to the people who own the larger island behind him. But he still has lifetime rights on his little island, so he can go and visit whenever he would like to. So I did mention that was the Summerland Island Group. So there's going to be island groups all over the place on the river, and that's pretty much just for safety. But then the development of highways came along. So it now currently connects two major highways on each country. It's going to connect Trans-Canadian Highway 401 over on the Canadian side to Interstate 81 on the American side. And those are two very heavily used roads here today. So you can see this tractor trailer is going to go right over our heads here in a second. You're going to see a few tractor trailers here and there on the bridge, because a lot of trade is going to happen right over this bridge system here. It's going to be pretty much anything that's not going to be traded on the river through the large ships is going to go right over this bridge system.
एकछिन उठ्नु हेलो भनेको
So off to the right-hand side here, you're going to find a Canadian provincial park known as Ivy League. So there's very popular campgrounds here right on the river. And right at the same time, you're actually going to have a Canadian...
हाइवे नि मजा आउँछ हाइवे छ
हाइवे रहेछ त यहाँ त
मिडल पोस्ट जस्तै
सकिन त्यसलाई भयो त्यही त कालो जाकेट पड्किदिन्थ्यो
Niagara Falls and your Thousand Island. Thousand Island football tour.
There's my house.
Thousand Island football tour. के गर्यो त्यसले चाबे सुत्नु दुख्दैन ल त्यही भएर त अघि भनिदिएँ
Again to your left. Oh, you are going to see a holding tank there that I mentioned earlier. And that's just going to be one of the few that you'll actually be able to see here on the river. And then just beyond Big Zavacon is Little Zavacon. And I mentioned the borderline goes between all of the islands here in the region. And it happens to split these two here right down the middle. So the people that own the island group decided to put the world's smallest international footbridge sitting there, as you can see. It sits there right around 35 feet long. So the man that owns the island group there was on an Uncle Sam boat tour many years ago, and he simply said that whenever his wife would get really mad at it, he would just grab a fishing pole, a six-pack, and just leave the country on vacation for a few days. So now that we are going to be back here into American waters, we're going to be going over a section known as the Mud Flats. So this was because of the more murky, muddy bottom of the river here. And most other areas of the river are going to end up being very rocky because of how the river was shaped out, like I mentioned earlier. So the water here is going to be about 5 to 15 feet deep, depending on where you guys are at. And because of that, it leads to being a very popular spot for a lot of species of fish here to spawn. So we have over 80 species of fish here in the St. Lawrence River, and some include large and smallmouth bass, perch, bluegill, walleye, bullhead, sunfish, muskie, and there's going to be a lot more that I cannot list off. And if I do have any fishermen on board here today, a few years ago we were ranked #1 by Outdoor Magazine for #1 in smallmouth bass fishing in the entire United States. Now because of that, we do host a tournament right here on the St. Lawrence River. And right with that, I did mention muskie, and the world's largest muskie was actually caught here on the St. Lawrence River as well. But that was just caught up closer towards Clayton. And then this next island is coming up here to your left-hand side. This is going to be Deer Island. So it's owned by George Miller, and he was a graduate from Yale University. So after graduating from Yale, he became an amateur archaeologist, having some pretty prized artifacts over in his collection. So he had some full suits of armor, some samurai swords, but his most prized artifact was actually going to be the Gutenberg Bible. So that would have been one of the that was put together. People would come from all over the river, could buy that fall during the winter, or not winter, during the summer. They would go again right in front of that point just to see the lights turn on the elements either below here on the river. So I did mention a little bit about George Miller there a second ago. There is one thing that I forgot to talk about him. So yes, he was a graduate from Yale University, but he was also a part of a secret society off Yale known as the Skull and Bones Society. So this is an off-campus fraternity that inducts 15 members from Yale's junior class every year. It's not based off grades or anything like that. It just comes down to leadership skills and pretty much just who you know. So right with that, the group promises you a large amount of wealth for your entire life, but the catch with that is going to be that you have to give a portion of your assets back to the society, and that's how they acquired Deer Island that you see sitting over there today. So you will see some people out there during these summer months. Some like to believe it's an
हाम्रो क्यासलमा हामी अड्केर राखेर रोक्यो होइन लिली लिली आइरिस आइरिस हेलो
हेलो भन्यो दिस इज क्यासल भन्ने सुनेको नि क्यासल हो
क्यासलको खानु मन लाग्थ्यो कि त
के हो त्यस्तो
ऊ त्यसले कति धेरै लिएर आए खानेकुरा आइसक्रिम
के
आइसक्रिम
यस्तो जाडोमा आइसक्रिम खान्छ
रेडी भयो अब हामी यहाँ क्यासलमा एकछिन वेट गरेको अब हामी
दादी यो शीतल आइसक्रिम खानुहुन्छ
खाने आइसक्रिम अलि बाटामा बिचमा गर्मी हुन्छ त्यहाँ खानुपर्छ यहाँ त अहिले जाडो हो कि
हावा कस्तो आएको थियो अघि है यस्तो आँखा उडाइ आँखाको आजीको आइल्यास चाहिँ फेरि
अहिले
बनाइदियो
बाटामा कस्तो गर्मी
यस्तो भएको उडेर आजीको आइल्यास चाहिँ उडेको Hey, yeah, we are leaving. के अर्को बुक छ अर्कोबाट आउँछ अरू मजाको थला थियो यहाँ
अब अर्कोचोटि आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ नि यतातिर बस्ने गरेर केही छैन त्यही पुरानो ऐतिहासिक कुराहरू हुन्छ के हुन्छ तिनीहरू सबै आमा फेरि आनन्दरी घुमे अर्का तिनीहरू तिनीहरूलाई केही छैन हामीले पनि हाम्रो
आइरिस होइन माछा छ कि यहाँ कहाँ गयो भने डर लागेको पाएको रहेछ है आइल्यान्ड हुने थियो नि Maybe. पानी भएर माथि पानी भएर घाम पनि लागेन कस्तो राम्रो वेदर
बस्ने होटेल पनि छ रहेछ नि
रिभर रिभरलेस
लजहरू
रिभर
यो गरेर अनि यो साइडतिर खिचेर काट्दा ए बसमा गएर आउनुहुन्छ नि अन्त रिसोर्ट गर्ने
नभए गाडी त छैन
कहाँ
यहाँ परेछ गाडी यहाँ परेछ
उडाउँदैन किन त्यस्तो हामी जस्तो महँगो हुँदैन नि फेरि हामी हो महँगो त यहाँ किसिम लाइन बेसी महँगो महँगो कपडा
होइन कसरी ब्याग गर्छ हेर नि ब्रेक लाग्छ
चप्पल लाएर जुत्ता त कहाँ लाग्छ क्रक्सको चप्पल लाएर त्यस्तै हुन्छ सबै त्यस्तो त्यो चप्पल लाएर के हुन्छ जेको लाए पनि के हुन्छ त्यो त लिनु त जब गर्ने कि त्यसमा जब गर्छ नि त त्यही मात्रै हेर्छ अघि
त्यसो चाहिँ अङ्कल स्यामबाट चाहिँ हुन्छ ठुलो बोट छ अरे पनि त